Hey everyone, this is Bob Hillman. I'm back at the San Francisco Free Folk Festival. The year is 2021. Finally, the bed in the neighborhood of dead from a gathering of all personnel. I couldn't fall asleep, I was conscious of a deep sense of purpose and a northwest swell. I slipped out of bed in the dark, embarking. The journey is never complete. I wrote a pithy note to my son and my wife, who are sleeping through the surfing light. Though I spend the week underwater, so to speak, in a critical advisory role, I've created space. There are processes in place for the benefit of body and soul. I'm satisfied with the pre-dawn ride, which at least takes the edge off the beast. Weekends are for fun with my son and my wife, and adventures in the surfing light. Average body mass over foam and fiberglass, balancing harmoniously. Existential dread when it's pumping overhead and you paddle ineffectually. Accelerate to a heightened state, any other realities fade. On the edge of a knife, my son and my wife disappear into the surfing light. Shivering I stand, meditative in the sand, and wondering if I'm getting old. Practice what you preach, say the ghosts at Ocean Beach, as I catapulted into the cold. Jolted awake in the breakers, I've never felt more intensely alive. Everything is one, says my son to my wife, as he contemplates the surfing life. Contemplate the surfing life. Thanks, you guys. I know you're clapping. When my kids heard that song, they said, no kid would ever say, everything is one. I knew that. I knew a kid wouldn't say that. There are kids in this song too. Write what you know. I often dream of candlelight, the flame of human appetite, bluish yellow flickering at night. Incandescent breathing space, partially illuminated illuminates the restlessness and hunger in your face. Maria, Maria, Maria. Later on, I watch you drift in and out of consciousness, murmuring in obvious distress, undergoing privately the usual anxiety. The movement of your lips bewitches me. Maria, Maria, Maria. Buried under, bundled up in blankets, eyes shut tight against an old familiar ache. A fear that you will have to face the future fully awake. But the future has been written, we receive it on our morning walk, serious and colorful in chalk. Words and pictures brought to you by cheerful sidewalk artists who have never seen or even heard of blue. Maria, Maria, Maria. I won't call today a celebration. I don't have a plan to make a plan to understand. You will have to fight through every night in fantasy land. How's that for an early quarantine song? I wrote a few of those. I put them out on an album called Inside and Terrified. It's a short album, 5 songs. There are others like that, some that are a little different. But it was recorded at home using this microphone, which I borrowed from a friend. I just record in whatever room there's no one in. If my wife's working in the office, I go upstairs. If the kids are fighting upstairs, I go down to the in-law unit. I got some options. When you made a motion as if to leave at 11:30 on New Year's Eve, discombobulated in a flash I knew something unexpected. I'm in love with you. Conversation for the time it took to debate the merits of important books, the sophistication of your points of view, and your sense of humor. I'm in love with you. Elevated spirits and alcohol, posh party or pub crawl, the makings of it. It happens, people. The makings of a good old-fashioned free-for-all. It's a long, long, long haul from tiny back seat of a rental car. The suburban landscape that we motored through was a ghostly vision. I'm in love with you. I remember churches and highway signs, white dresses and white lines. We can make decisions at decision time in a long, long, long time. In the early morning, when I thought we might run away together, you caught your flight. In a daze I wondered, could you also be in the same condition and in love with me? File under No Nonsense Love Songs. File this one under San Francisco Landmarks. Never before performed in public or elsewhere. This is Mount Davidson Cross by Bob Hillman. I hope you like it. After investing the nest egg in the markets and selling our shares at a loss, Sarah suggested a walking meditation through the hills to the Mount Davidson Cross. Winding around in the neighborhoods where we would normally gossip and crow. This time I think about Calvary. We could be carrying heavier burdens, I know. Crisscrossing trails almost derails us, but in a clearing we find 100 feet of stability, a concrete monument to the immutable mind. Somebody must have been serious. We discuss what we discuss every time. Whether a wall that's impossibly smooth could be something a regular person could climb. Everything's good, says the woods, a voice of reason, weathers the seasons and thrives. Though the wind blows us away from San Francisco, we reinvest in the rest of our lives. But Jesus, that cross is a monolith loaded with baggage and blocking the light. sliver of sun through the canopy beckons we soak up its energy, cheerful and bright. Mount Davidson Cross. I started that song with no idea what I was going to say. I've been writing a song a week for the last year or so, sometimes 2 songs. It's slowing down now that the world is getting back to normal and I'm busy. But I got together with a group of songwriters every Monday night and we present our new material. And Mondays or weeks when I don't have something going, I just start singing and I see what happens. I was thinking about the Mount Davidson Cross and I concocted a story around it, and the music sounded a bit like Pachelbel's Canon in D. I had heard an interview with another songwriter who said every song is just like Canon in D, which I completely don't agree with, but then decided that I could have one like that. There's your backstory. If you want to be a prolific songwriter, write a song a week. You just got to get down to business, make it part of your life. When you're driving the kids around, write songs. When you're coaching baseball, mainly just coach baseball so you don't get hit by a baseball and die. But at all other times, you can be thinking about songs. Here's another one I wrote for the meeting. A friend showed us a picture of a dock and what seemed like a hotel behind the dock and a sailboat. And he showed us a second version of that picture. One was done by him and one was done by his great-grandfather. 2 paintings of the same thing. I wrote a song about that. Let's go up one on this. Sarah says she doesn't see a sailboat tethered to the dock or anywhere. Just because she doesn't see a sailboat doesn't mean a sailboat isn't there. The invisible world, the invisible world, the invisible world. The harbor has existed here forever, but images from years ago are faint, buried under earthy innovation, layers of contemporary paint. The invisible world, the invisible world, the invisible world. It's cloudy today and the ocean is blue. Now you know what your grandfather's father knew. Sarah circumnavigating boulders, following the shoreline in the sun, wading to her ankles she imagines, standing there with almost anyone. That's called The Invisible World, and it'll be on my Power Pop EP, for want of a better term. I'm working on a rock record with Pete Thomas, drummer from Elvis Costello and the Attractions. One of the great things about COVID, that's not a sentence people really say, but you know what I mean. As a byproduct of COVID, musicians are not on the road, and so more musicians than usual are available to work with you on your projects. Migratory comet, furtive UFO, interstellar iceberg, no one knows. Hey, Oumuamua, in our galaxy, scientists are watching cluelessly. Scientists are watching from volcanoes in the tropics, where they share their otherworldly news with a fleet of parakeets who flit about and mimic the arguments they've heard in interviews. I, for one, will never run away from possibilities, mysteries that no one understands. But outer space is not the place to face your fear or hear the call. After all, after all, after all, the universe expands. Either this is nothing, says my frontal lobe, or a long-awaited cosmic probe. Hey, Oumuamua, we are suffering. Later you can tell us everything. Tell us what you know about the art of navigation, having stayed a course for many years. Or did you just wander through our solar system shiftless, skirting inefficient hemispheres? I, for one, will never run away from possibilities, mysteries that no one understands. But outer space is not the place to face your fear or hear the call. After all, after all, after all, the universe expands. Oumuamua, a mysterious object in space. I read about it in the New York Times. Here's one I wrote a long time ago. fighting for her life in Iowa. She can go anywhere she wants to with the Future Legends Typing Club. She can go anywhere she wants to. They were reading Faulkner, but he was not hard enough. They were thinking carefully and writing down their thoughts to please us. She can go anywhere she wants to, anywhere she wants to. She wants to be here. She looks out on 50 miles of corn. She can go anywhere she wants to. In the city clothes she's always worn. She can go anywhere she wants to. With the falling leaves, the stalks turn ugly, old and brown. Anyone might think it was neglect or never meant for harvest. She can go anywhere she wants to, anywhere she wants to. She wants to be here. Over drinking, under thinking, always chasing skirt, only waiting, calculating how much time till they hit pay dirt. There's a holy circle and a fire. She can go anywhere she wants to, celebrating poetry for hire. She can go anywhere she wants to. Someone cried Virginia Woolf and finally she broke down. He was almost sure the wolf was big and bad and in sheep's clothing. She can go anywhere she wants to, anywhere she wants to. She wants to be here. She can go anywhere she wants to, anywhere she wants to. She wants to be here. She wants to be here. She wants to be here. That song comes from my most popular album, entitled Welcome to My Century. It was released in 2001. That's 20 years ago. Unbelievable. That's the record I had out when I was hitting the road pretty hard at the opening act level. I had a lot of great gigs opening for the folk music personages of the day. I also worked for a long time as the opening act for Suzanne Vega. We played the Fillmore a couple of times, which was fun. I'd like to do that again. Actually, I did that again a couple of years ago with my friends, the Weepies. I've played everywhere in San Francisco, from the Fillmore right on down. One of my favorite places of all time, the Bazaar Cafe. That song, Anywhere, goes out to my good friend and father figure, Tommy West, who passed away a few weeks ago. Tommy produced my first two albums. I wrote that song, Anywhere. I started it anyway while driving out of his house in New Jersey, leaving his driveway to go to the country store to pick up a piece of carrot cake and probably a sandwich. He was an important person in my life and was one of the biggest supporters of my songs there's ever been. Back to San Francisco, though. From Pottersville, New Jersey, where I recorded with Tommy, to the Great Highway, which has been closed to cars since the pandemic started, and I hope it stays that way. I'm going out and surrender to abstraction when the road is closed to cars. Without the constant flow of traffic, it has begun collecting sand. You get the sense that Mother Nature has regained the upper hand. This is wild land. This is wild land. Forces we will never govern or withstand. This is wild land. There have been accidental drownings when people exercise the right to go out swimming in the ocean all alone and late at night. This is wild land. This is wild land. Reassess your expectations, what you plan. This is wild land. Strangely, I feel safer after dark, when fellow travelers seek refuge in the park. But I take comfort in the wind. I'm elemental and second skinned. I tend to navigate by instinct or by the blinking traffic lights that have been stripped of all their meaning but are never black and white. This is wild land. This is wild land. I accept that I may never understand. This is wild land. Wild land. I was on the Great Highway just today. I rode my bike up and down there a couple times. The wind was pretty strong. The wind's been strong for a while now, to the point where when you're cycling, you get a PR, a personal record, in one direction, and you can barely make it the other direction without hiring a tow truck to tow you. That's not what tow trucks do. This is not the time to crash and burn. I'm getting towards the end here, you guys. Something I do as a sideline is write custom songs. If someone needs a song for an occasion, sometimes they contact me and I whip something up. The key to that for me is that they have to be regular songs, even songs I would record. The first song I sang tonight, called The Surfing Life, was one of those songs. This is the second of those kinds of songs that I'm going to record, but I have to admit, this one ended up not being the custom song I expected. It took on a different life and went away from the original topic. I wrote that family a different one that suited their needs a little better. But this song started out with a father telling me about his sons. And he said that sometimes he thinks they're both Cain. Not Cain and Abel, both Cain. This is When He's Cain. Crash, bang, boom, says the other room. Are they at war? Asks the yellow door. When the two little boys are awake, making noise, it's a right and it's worth fighting for. Hey, let's play, says the break of day. That's not fair, intimates the air. A harmonious breeze may impulsively freeze unsuspecting civilians. Beware. Brother, he will love you when he's able, but when he's Cain, he's in pain. Devotion will drive you insane. Bang, boom, crash, televisions laugh, four walls agree, characters can be left alone to explore the emotional core of the struggle for identity. Brother, he will love you when he's able, but when he's Cain, you remain. Devotion will drive you insane. I have learned that my role is to browbeat, cajole, and before very long lose control. Brother, you will love him when you're able, but when you're Cain, you're in pain. Devotion will drive you insane. Devotion will drive you insane. Well, thanks for listening to me play all these new songs. A couple of old ones, but mostly all written within the last year. This is the title track from my 2018 recording. Some of us are free, some of us are lost. I sure appreciate you guys tuning in today. I look forward to seeing you back at the festival in person, if they have me back in the future. We read Kerouac as kids. Some of us are tempted by the road. I know going off the grid didn't solve my problems back at home. And my defense experience comes at a cost. Some of us are free, some of us are lost. Moonbeams, many billion stars, summer on the beach in Mexico. Smoky after hours bars, the loneliness of 10th Street in the snow. Traveling is everything, but lines will be crossed. Some of us are free, some of us are lost. Some of us are free, some of us are lost. You can become a microdot, floating around an astronaut. Sort of existent, sort of not. As an afterthought, we remember we forgot. Brake squeal, carburetor cough. Wait until Mechanicsville will see. Service stations of a cross, pit stops on the road to Calvary. The engine boils motor oil, tailpipe exhaust. Some of us are free, some of us are lost. Some of us are free, some of us are lost. Thanks, everyone. I'm Bob Hillman, and this is the 2021 San Francisco Free Folk Festival. It was a pleasure to play for you tonight.